Okay, so welcome to part 4 of this piggyback bias binding periscope that I have been doing with Claire-Louise at Thrifty Stitcher. I hope you've been enjoying it so far, but if you've just joined us, then don't worry, these tips are still going to be useful and you can watch all the other ones on the replay as well. So what I'm going to be showing you now in part 4 is how to use bias binding as a facing. So it means that it won't actually be visible on the finished garment. It's a really nice way to finish off quite lightweight fabrics, because then you've not got like another bit of fabric on the inside, and it just gives a really nice clean finish. Thanks for joining, everyone. If you've got any questions throughout, just please let me know. Okay, so far we've talked to you about what bias binding is. I've shown you how to make some using these really cool gadgets here, and then what Claire-Louise has just shown you is how to use bias binding but with it exposed, so I'm going to show you how to hide it on the inside. Okay, so what I wanted to first of all show you, which I forgot to show you before, was these really cool snazzy ones, because not only can you get plain bias binding, you can get nice ones that are pre-made as well. These are actually pre-made ones from Liberty Fabric, so they're nice and soft. They're really nice. So you can get these in my online shop. I know, they're really nice. I've got quite a few different ones. So what I'm going to be showing you, I've got some examples here. The top I'm wearing has got bias binding that's used as a facing, but I wanted to show you some close up. So on this top here, I've got bias binding on it. Now, I didn't really want to have the binding showing in this one because I couldn't get a navy that matched exactly my fabric, and this fabric tends to fray quite a lot, so I didn't really want to make my own because it would have been a bit annoying. I wanted to use ready-made stuff, but so instead I just folded it to the inside. So you can see here, I'll get that out of the way. So you can see here that it's on the inside, and then from the outside of the fabric, you're not going to be able to see it, but there's a line of stitching there, so you do see some top stitching with this technique, okay? You might see it a little bit better on this version. Here you can see that top stitching. So on this top, it's got quite a bold pattern. I just kind of wanted to feature that. I didn't want to have like a big bit of binding sticking out over the top. I just wanted it to be quite subtle. So I'm going to show you how to get a really neat finish on that. So the key, the thing that you need is to press. You need a good decent iron to get this neat. It is the only way. I know, it's really nice clean finish. So what I've got here is a little sample pre-sewn already. So what you have to do, so remember, if I show you on this one, remember the bias binding has got these, it's just plain on one side, and then it's got these folds to the inside here. So what you want to do when you're putting it on to the fabric, first of all I'm going to sew it to the right side of the fabric, okay? Which I know might seem like the wrong way around, but trust me, it works. So you're going to be sewing it right sides together, and you're going to be using this fold here as a stitch guide. You're going to be stitching exactly inside that fold. So what you have to do is line the edge of your bias binding up, the very edge, the raw edge, up with the raw edge of your fabric, okay? So you're going to pin it on, then you're going to sew exactly in that line. So that's what I've done here. I've got a bit of binding, and you can see that bottom bit still folded over, but I have stitched in that fold all the way along there, okay? And then, I know this is a bit of calico, but just pretend it's the right side of the fabric, okay? So now I'm going to press. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, let's move it back a little bit. First of all, I'm going to press it up the way, okay? So I'm going to go like this, but I want to keep that other fold in the binding. Do not, whatever you do, press that out because you need it for later. Okay, so then you're just gonna iron on top like this. My iron's cooled down a little bit, but it'll get there. Okay, so press it up like that, so then you get a nice crisp clean finish. There's no sort of little lip in the binding there. Then what you're going to do is flip it over. Did you sew along the inside of the fold? Exactly, I did. I used the fold as a stitch guide, and it was bang right in the fold was where I stitched. So once I've pressed it up, then I'm going to press it over the top, okay? So this is going to sandwich the whole raw edge. Okay, so press it over like this. And then I'm going to again just iron all the way along the top. This is effectively like I'm now pressing the binding in half. Okay, so my raw edge is now sandwiched in between. And then, so you can see on the right side of the fabric, you can see a bit of binding sticking out. Now, you could at this point, if you wanted to see the binding, then just top stitch this on at this stage. But we're not, we want to hide it. We want to hide it on the inside of the garment. So we're going to iron it again. Okay, so put it back down and then just fold it to the inside again and just make sure that you can see a teeny tiny little bit of your outer fabric on the inside. Give it a good press, get it nice and flat, make sure there's steam so that when you come to sew it, it's already in place. So now, so this is the right side of the fabric, you can kind of see the binding through it. You've just got a nice clean line here. On the inside we have our binding and you can see just the teeny tiny little few millimeters of the outside fabric. So the job now is to then top stitch this on. So you're going to see that line of stitching. So that will be like the one I showed you before when I put it here. You see that stitching there? So what you got to do, I know it might seem like you would be tempted to sew it from this side, the inside of the garment. Don't. It looks much, much better if you sew it from the outside. If you've got very slight inconsistencies in how you've pressed it, then that's going to mean that the line of stitching is like a little bit wobbly. But if you sew it from this side, then you know that you can just keep your line of stitching at an even distance from the edge of the fabric. So basically you want to be sewing far enough away from this fold here that you catch that bottom edge of it there on the inside. That makes sense. So it's going to end up being, on this one, it's going to end up being maybe about ½ centimetre away from the edge. So what I always just do is get it lined up in the machine, and you can usually see if you just roll the hand wheel at the side of the machine, turn that towards you to lower the needle down, and you'll feel it going through all the layers of fabric. Then you know you're catching them all, and just work out a sort of reference point, work out where that fold is sitting in relation to your foot. Might be just the inside of the foot, it might be like one of the little grids on your sewing machine. Find something to keep it consistent and then just take it easy and slow. So remember, if you're doing this to a neckline, it's going to be curved. So you need to lay the fabric out like it's curved. Don't pull it straight as you feed it into the machine. Lay it flat as you're sewing, and so that you actually sew around the curve. It stops it from sort of everything kind of bubbling out a little bit. So you just need to take it easy, but the key is just pressing it. By the time you come to sew it, it should already be where you want it to be. It's the pressing that's going to get it neat. That is the thing that's going to do it. Would you stable at a curved neckline? You would stay stitch it first. So you would put a line of stitching just before you put the binding on. You would stay stitch it just within the seam allowance so that it stabilises it a little bit. So I hope you find that useful. It is like a little bit fiddly, but you just need to take your time with it and press. That's always what I say. So the other things I just wanted to show you is other ways that you can use the binding as well, because I've used it a couple of different ways on this one. So on the inside of this top, it's got a facing at the back, and I have just finished off the facing edge with a bit of bias binding. You know, you could just zigzag it. I love your dress, thank you. It's actually a top. I've got trousers on too, and it is the named Caverna blouse, but I made a sleeveless version. So that is quite nice. It's got like a little peplum thing here and a pleat, and then people usually like this. See, it's got buttons at the back, which is quite nice. So you can use your binding to edge the facing. I also did it just to, this is like a Hong Kong finish or bound seams. Oh, thank you. Just finished off the raw edge there, so I've got binding there as well, and I also put it on the hem of this, which is quite cute. So just like a little bit of binding sticking out here, so I just finished it. I actually folded a bias strip in half, sewed it on, zigzagged, press it out, just leaves like a nice little edge. It's quite cute. and so yeah, you can use bias binding in lots of different ways, but it's not just, it doesn't just have to be functional like necklines and armholes, it can be sort of decorative as well. The other thing I wanted to show you, thanks for staying tuned for all this time, is my book, because I am like the world's biggest fan of bias binding and a bit of a bias binding geek, and in my book I show you how to make it. So I've got 2 different ways that you can make it. So I showed you one way in part 2, so if you missed part 2, go back and watch the replay again. So it's got all these nice pictures, shows you how to make it here, do the ironing bit at the bottom, and then also shows you how to put it on armholes, and then how to do an exposed finish and a hidden finish. So all of that is in my book, Learn to Sew with Lauren. You can get a signed copy on the website, or you can catch it on Amazon as well. So thanks for the hearts, guys. And I hope you find that useful. You can tweet us any questions afterwards. Me and Claire-Louise, who've been doing this series, Thrifty Stitcher, you can find her here. You can tweet us any questions you've got. But if you like what you've seen, then please follow us for more sewing tips. If you click the little number of people that are watching in the bottom of your screen, you can share this with your friends too. That'd be awesome, and you can follow us. So I hope you enjoy the sunshine. It's meant to be nice tomorrow, and I'll see you soon. Okay.